Welcome back. This weekend in, of all places, the Netherlands, a proclamation between the Dutch country and Kingston will be presented in the city of Hoorn. The mayor on hand recently to sign the document, signifying the bond between both the Netherlands and the city. Dutch settlers called Kingston home back in the mid-1600s, and until the 19th century, there was a strong Dutch cultural influence in the city. However, there are still some remnants around Kingston if you look hard enough. Mayor Shane Gallo talks to us about how important this proclamation is to both the Netherlands and the city of Kingston.
Well, this afternoon we're here to sign a proclamation recognizing our Dutch heritage. In 1609, of course, the Henry Hudson Half Moon went up the Hudson and stopped here in the nearby area on the creek, and the local Indians, they were met with the Lenni Lenape, yes, excuse me for destroying their name. And then in the 1650s, Kingston was born, and it's fitting that I, as the mayor, and we're here also with the Dome from the Old Dutch Church, one of the oldest continuing Dutch Reformed churches in the United States. It sits up in the historic Stockade District. We're waiting for those from the new Amsterdam Museum, okay, to come down here to sign the proclamation, which they will be taking to the Netherlands, which will recognize our status as connected to the Netherlands, being a Dutch colony, as I stated earlier. So I'm very proud to be here. I'm also of Dutch heritage. My mom is Dutch, okay? I'm Irish and Italian. And as I said, I'm very proud here to be with the Dome of the Old Dutch Church, and as I said, one of the oldest continuing Dutch Reformed churches in the United States. It means an historical acknowledgement, a recognition of our diversity, of our past, and a proud heritage that includes the Dutch. So I think that that's probably a fitting way to commemorate today, and moving forward, always remember that the Dutch are a very strong part of our community, and we can thank Henry Hudson and then subsequent others, okay, from the Netherlands, okay, who established this colony back in the 1650s here in the city of Kingston. Number of communities throughout New York State along the Hudson River where they intend to seek signature, to execute this proclamation, to make it really a complete, comprehensive recognition along the Hudson River that all of these riverside communities also have a connection to the Netherlands and have a Dutch heritage that we should all be proud of. And remember, 2 years ago, we had Captain Chip Reynolds from the Half Moon replica, if you recall, that I actually boarded on the Hudson. They came into the Rondow Creek, and it was really neat, and again further underscores that nexus, that connection to the Dutch, okay, in this instance, the Half Moon, which brought the Dutch to the United States, to North America, and then they came up the Hudson River accordingly and stopped here in Kingston. I'm very, very pleased and proud to be here to sign off on this proclamation and to recognize our Dutch heritage, 400 plus years, and we're very proud of it. And as I said, on a personal note, I'm also of Dutch heritage, and it's just another example of the diversity of this city and this community, which has sustained itself for literally over 400 years.
What's remarkable to me is that within just a couple of years of Peter Stuyvesant coming here to establish Kingston, the people asked for a church, and of course, being Dutch, he established the Reformed Protestant Dutch Church. And the Old Dutch Church, which started in 1659, was the only church in all of Kingston for 175 years. So it was serving the needs of the total population, regardless of race, ethnicity, even religious origins. The Old Dutch Church was the church that served this community. And then in the 18th century and 19th century, Old Dutch Church mothered 50 daughter churches, many of which are still in existence. It's pretty wonderful to keep acknowledging that history. One of the surprises in my coming to the Valley from where I was in New Jersey is the very deep and lively sense of history. And since so much of our heritage comes from the Dutch, we've been working hard at the Old Dutch Church to tell the true story of who the Dutch were and what's the legacy that they left us. There's a story that the Dutch were tolerant and they were open, and that's a true story. There was much magnanimity among the Dutch, but also the Dutch were entrepreneurial and had very specific concerns for economics, and so not everything that they did was perfect.
I'm here in Kingston, so the mayor and the reverend may sign a proclamation which will be delivered to the Dutch mayor of Hoorn on May 23rd, coming up. And that proclamation is a statement of friendship for the people of the United States and the people of the Netherlands. The occasion on May 23rd is when the replica ship Half Moon, which is owned by the New Netherland Museum, is loaned to the Westfries Museum in the city of Hoorn in North Holland. We would like to have every institution that existed before New Netherland became the states of New Jersey, Delaware, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and New York, such as the city of Kingston, Old Wiltwyck, and the Old Dutch Church here, okay, to sign this proclamation of friendship for the New Netherland Museum to the people of the Netherlands. For the Kingston community, first of all, the ship is an ambassador from this area to the Netherlands and Europe. Okay, the proclamation will be displayed next to the ship when it's in the water at the Westfries Museum, along with a book of signatures of all the signatories to this proclamation. We are attempting to get dignitaries from 30 different places, the governors of the states, the senators, and mayors, borough presidents of places that existed as institutions when this was New Netherland. There are only 30 people who are being asked to sign this as dignitaries, as we are asking the citizens of these areas to also sign a signature page, okay, which will be displayed along with the original proclamation. The original proclamation will be handed by Dr. Andrew Hendricks, the fellow who founded the New Netherland Museum and built the replica ship Half Moon, to the highest official in the Netherlands of the U.S. State Department, and that fellow will then hand it to the mayor of Hoorn.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Amy Greene. Tune in next week for another edition of Hudson Valley Week in Review. Good night.